In the heart of the tranquil town of Blackwood stood a crumbling, forgotten mansion known as Hollow Manor. It loomed with an eerie presence, as if the very walls held secrets that they yearned to share but dared not utter. Hollow Manor had been abandoned for decades, its halls echoing only with whispers of the past. Among these whispers, the most haunting tale was that of Lady Evelyn, the mansion's former resident who was said to have met a tragic end. The legend spoke of Lady Evelyn as a beautiful but enigmatic woman who lived a reclusive life within the grandiose walls of the manor. It was rumored that she had lost her husband in a tragic accident which had driven her to seclusion. Those who spoke of her in town described her as having an air of sadness, her face hidden behind a delicate veil whenever she ventured out. One cold, moonlit night, 3 daring souls, Emily, Alex, and Daniel, decided to explore Hollow Manor. Armed with flashlights and an insatiable curiosity, they set foot inside the decaying mansion. The creaking of the old wooden floors greeted them as they crossed the threshold. The interior was as eerie as the exterior, with tattered curtains swaying in the breeze, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Cobwebs hung from chandeliers like ethereal drapes, and the air was thick with a musty scent that seemed to have seeped into the very souls of the place. Emily led the way, her footsteps echoing in the dimly lit corridor. As they ventured deeper into the manor, a chill crept into their bones. They entered a grand hall with a looming, cracked portrait of Lady Evelyn hanging above a dilapidated fireplace. Her eyes, painted with an uncanny realism, seemed to follow their every move. Alex shuddered. "This place gives me the creeps. Are you sure it's safe, Emily?" Emily chuckled nervously. "Don't be such a scaredy cat, Alex. It's just an old mansion with stories, nothing more." Daniel, ever the skeptic, added, "Yeah, stories meant to scare off trespassers." But despite their bravado, each of them felt a growing unease as they explored deeper into Hollow Manor. They entered a long corridor that led to a grand staircase. Emily felt an inexplicable pull, as if something beckoned her upstairs. She climbed, with Alex and Daniel following hesitantly. As they reached the upper landing, the temperature dropped drastically, and the air grew thick with an eerie silence. Emily's flashlight flickered, casting fleeting shadows on the ornate wallpaper. Then, from the darkness, they heard it, a faint, mournful wail that seemed to resonate from behind a heavy wooden door at the end of the corridor. Emily hesitated, her heart pounding in her chest. She whispered, "Did you guys hear that?" Alex swallowed hard, and Daniel nodded, his face pale. "We should leave. This place is messing with our heads." But curiosity and a desire to prove their bravery urged them forward. They approached the door, its wood worn and faded, the brass doorknob icy to the touch. With trembling hands, Emily pushed it open, revealing a room cloaked in shadows. In the center of the room stood a grand 4-poster bed, its canopy draped in tattered, dusty curtains. On the bed, a figure dressed in a bridal gown lay as still as death. It was Lady Evelyn, her visage a ghostly pallor. Fear gripped them as they realized they had stumbled upon something beyond their understanding. But then, Lady Evelyn's eyes fluttered open, and she whispered, "Help me." Startled, they rushed to her side. She looked at them with eyes that held an age-old sorrow. "I've been trapped here for so long. You must free me from this curse." Emily, her heart filled with sympathy, asked, "How can we help you?" Lady Evelyn beckoned them closer. "You must find the locket my husband gave me. It contains the key to breaking the curse. It's hidden somewhere in this house." Determined to aid Lady Evelyn, they embarked on a desperate search. As they combed through the manor, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. Ghostly apparitions flickered in and out of existence, their mournful cries echoing through the halls. Hours turned into an endless night as they scoured every corner of Hollow Manor, each room holding its own eerie secrets. Finally, in a forgotten attic, they discovered a dusty chest. Inside, nestled among faded letters and trinkets, was the locket. Returning to Lady Evelyn's side, they gently placed the locket around her neck. It glowed with a faint, otherworldly light, as if accepting its duty to break the curse. A gust of wind swept through the room, and Lady Evelyn's form began to fade, her smile one of gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice growing fainter. "You have set me free." With that, Lady Evelyn disappeared into the darkness, leaving behind only the memory of her sorrowful presence. As they stepped outside Hollow Manor, the first rays of dawn began to illuminate the horizon. The mansion, once foreboding, now seemed to sigh in relief, its malevolent aura lifted. Emily, Alex, and Daniel had unraveled the mysteries of Hollow Manor and brought closure to Lady Evelyn's restless spirit. The town of Blackwood would forever remember the night when 3 brave souls faced the haunted past of Hollow Manor and emerged with a tale of redemption and release. The Whispering Woods had always been a place of secrets. Dark, ancient trees loomed like silent sentinels, and the dense canopy overhead seemed to devour all sound. Few dared to venture into this eerie forest, for it was said that a malevolent curse dwelled within, waiting for the curious souls who dared to trespass. In a quaint little town nearby, 3 friends, Sarah, Mark, and Emma, had grown up hearing tales of the Whispering Woods and its cursed cabin. Legends whispered of a vengeful spirit that resided within, waiting for victims to cross its path. Curiosity gnawed at them, and one moonless night they decided to test the legends. Armed with flashlights and guided by the dim glow of the moon, the trio ventured into the foreboding woods. The trees seemed to lean in closer, their gnarled branches forming grotesque shapes that stretched towards them. The path was overgrown and winding, making it clear that few had dared to venture this far. Mark, the bravest of the 3, led the way. His steps were firm, his determination unshaken. He turned to Sarah and Emma with a mischievous grin. "You 2 aren't scared, are you?" Sarah shot him a playful glare. "Of course not. We're here for an adventure, right, Emma?" Emma nodded, though her wide eyes betrayed a hint of fear. "Right, an adventure." They pressed on deeper into the woods, the oppressive silence broken only by the crunching of leaves beneath their feet. Sarah couldn't help but feel like they were being watched, and an unsettling feeling settled in her chest. Finally, after what felt like hours, they arrived at a clearing. In the center stood a decrepit cabin, its wooden walls sagging, its roof nearly caved in. Ivy and moss clung to it like a shroud. It looked as if it had been forgotten by time itself. Mark approached the cabin first, his curiosity piqued. "This is it, the cursed cabin," he declared, his voice hushed. Sarah and Emma followed him, their flashlights revealing eerie symbols carved into the cabin's weathered walls. The air grew colder as they stepped inside, and their breaths formed ghostly puffs in the frigid air. The cabin's interior was as haunting as its exterior. Tattered curtains swayed as if moved by a spectral breeze, and the floorboards groaned beneath their feet. In the center of the room, a wooden table held an assortment of ancient objects, an old journal, a dusty music box, and a faded photograph. Sarah picked up the journal and began to read aloud. It says here that the cabin was once home to a hermit who dabbled in dark magic. He summoned a vengeful spirit to protect his solitude. Mark scoffed, dismissing it as mere folklore. "Just a tale to keep nosy people away." But as he spoke, the room seemed to shiver, and a mournful whisper swept through the air, carrying words of warning. "Leave this place before it's too late." Chills raced down their spines, and they exchanged uneasy glances. Emma, her voice quivering, pleaded, "Maybe we should go. This doesn't feel right." However, before they could react, the room erupted into chaos. Furniture toppled, the temperature plummeted, and ethereal shadows danced on the walls. Sarah, Mark, and Emma huddled together, their flashlights trembling in their hands. Amid the chaos, a figure materialized, a specter draped in darkness, its eyes burning with malevolence. It spoke with a voice that chilled them to the bone. "You trespassed into my domain. Now you shall suffer the consequences." Terrified, they realized the legends were true. The vengeful spirit sought retribution for their intrusion. Desperate, Mark attempted to reason with the spirit. We didn't mean any harm. We just wanted to satisfy our curiosity." The spirit's laughter was a haunting melody. Curiosity can be a dangerous thing. With a wave of its spectral hand, the cabin's walls seemed to close in on them. They were trapped, and panic set in as they struggled to breathe. Sarah clutched the journal and, in a trembling voice, read aloud from its pages. "To break the curse, one must show remorse and undo the hermit's dark magic." The spirit paused, considering her words. "Very well. If you can undo the curse, you may go free." With the spirit's consent, they embarked on a frantic siege. The music box played an eerie tune when wound, revealing the hidden incantations used by the hermit. Mark, using the knowledge from the journal, recited a counterspell, and the cabin trembled as the curse's grip began to loosen. As the last incantation left Mark's lips, the cabin seemed to exhale, its malevolence dissipating. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the vengeful spirit dissolved into a sigh of relief. They hurriedly left the cabin, returning to the whispering woods. The night sky had lightened, and the trees, once ominous, seemed to beckon them back to safety. The curse was broken, and they had survived their ordeal. Sarah, Mark, and Emma emerged from the whispering woods, forever changed by their encounter with the supernatural. The town would never know the full extent of their adventure, but they carried the memory of the cursed cabin and the power of remorse with them, a testament to the dangers that lurked in the whispering woods.